Hello. I think we're live.
Yes, the little red button tells me so.
Tells you so.
Yeah.
Welcome back. It's Book Chats with Mostly Books. I'm Jody.
I'm Jen.
Tonight we are discussing The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Okay. Synopsis first.
Okay, so Linus Baker is a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth. And so magical youth are reported and registered in a system and sent to orphanages. And Linus is a caseworker, so he goes and checks on houses, makes sure kids aren't being treated terribly, etc. You can see where this is going to go. So Linus gets called to extremely upper management.
I love that.
I love that. It's
Me too.
Hilarious. And they're like, we have a super secret task for you. You have to do this. And Linus is quaking in his boots. He's terrified at this point. He thinks he's going to get fired. So he's like, okay, I'll do it. And so he goes to this magical island and has to check up on the Marsis orphanage. And Arthur is the master of the house, and then the kids. Mm-hmm. And
plot happens,
you
like to say.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away.
Excuse me. Okay. Did you like it?
I did like it.
Yeah, me too. I really liked it, actually. The characters are just delightful in this book.
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
I did like the characters. I read it for class, so I had to think about it in a slightly different way from just being like, oh, this was a fun read. But I really liked Linus. His narration, or it's really funny being in his head because he has a very dry sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of always freaking out about something. I'm like, that's relatable.
Yep. Feel
that. So he's fun to follow around as he gets to know the kids and gets to know Arthur. And yeah, it's...
Yep.
Yeah, because he seems kind of just like a homebody, but it's there's what's interesting about you?
Nothing really in the beginning. Well, hence why he was chosen.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, you're a rule follower. You won't betray us or anything.
Okay. Before we go further, do we want to talk characters then? And since you've already kind of talked about Linus and Arthur, do we want to specifically talk about the children, or do we need to save those?
We can talk about the children, because I think I've seen marketing for this book that has oh, there's the Antichrist, by the way.
Okay. By the way, one of the children is the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Let's start with Lucifer.
He goes, but he much prefers Lucy.
I think that's a much more appropriate name for him.
Yeah.
So Lucy is our 6-year-old Antichrist. And what did you think of him?
He's fun. He's 6 years old, 6 months, and 6 weeks. Or 6 days, one of those.
I'm sure, 666, yes.
Yeah, and he's this dramatic... He also has a very dry sense of humor, so he and Linus bond that way, among other ways. But Linus is terrified of him for, the first few days he's there. Because Lucy's like, oh, I will, I don't know, eat your brains and make bread from your bones or whatever.
Lucy epitomizes the Antichrist as much as he can in any moment. But I always felt, and maybe you didn't feel this way, but I always felt like it was kind of a show.
Oh, yeah.
He was just doing this to do this to see how you respond. Yeah, it was definitely attention-y.
He can do some stuff. He has powers, and they're kind of terrifying. But yeah, he's just trying to get Linus's goat.
Right? All right. Who would you like to talk about next?
Let's do Talia, because Linus meets Talia first.
That was my choice, too.
Yeah. Am I going or are you going?
I don't care either way.
Oh, Talia's a gnome.
She's the only female gnome.
Yeah.
With her beard.
Yeah. She's 200-something years old. And she will brain you with her shovel.
Yeah, they really had quite the introduction for Linus.
Yeah. Can you say it? It happens fairly early.
Yeah, go for it. I think that's not a spoiler.
Linus gets to the house, and he's brought his cat with, because this is a month-long assignment. So he couldn't leave Calliope at home. So when he gets there, he let Calliope, needs to do her business. So he's like, okay, don't run off too far. Like, who tells a cat don't run off too far and doesn't expect them to, like, bolt?
And doesn't expect them to bolt, yeah.
So Calliope bolts off into Talia's garden, and Linus sees her. He's like, oh, what a cute little gnome statue. And then the statue comes to life and almost brains him with a shovel.
Threatens to brain him and bury him in her garden where no one will find him. They're all a little dramatic at times. Okay, mostly just Talia and Lucy.
Isn't Talia in, like, her teenage phase of gnome lifespans? I don't know. It kind of seemed like it sometimes.
Yeah, she could. I kind of felt like tweenish, age-wise. Yeah. Okay, and then we have. Why am I drawing blanks on names? Sal.
Do you want to do Sal, or like there's Chauncey and what's the wyvern's name?
Theodore.
I
don't care. Pick your choice.
I'm gonna do Chauncey next.
Okay, do Chauncey.
Chauncey is he's definitely a being.
Mm-hmm.
He's got tentacles on eye stalks on tentacles, and he's made out of goo.
And he likes to hang out in, like, low-level salt water in his room. We're not really sure Chauncey's heritage, but it doesn't matter.
He's great. His dream is to be a bellhop and to be the very best bellhop who's ever bellhopped.
I think he's going to succeed. That boy practices all the time.
He's very sweet. He's constantly getting tips from Linus. Yeah, he's very sweet.
Yeah. That brings us to what? Theodore the Wyvern, which also is adorable. Like, he's a wyvern, so he has his lair and a nest, and he likes to collect things to hoard.
Yeah.
So of course he's expecting something from Linus when he first meets him, which Linus is like, I don't know what to give him. They're like, just whatever you have in your pocket. And so he pulls out a brass button. Oh my goodness, and it's like the best gift ever given to Theodore. Like, it's just, he's just so excited. It was adorable.
Talia's like, she's like, you have to pay him, then he'll help you find your cat. And he's like, okay, I guess. And he's like, so he's gonna help me find my cat, right? She's like, oh no, I just wanted to see what you would do. Like, the kids have a lot of fun
at Linus's expense.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And that leaves us with Sal. That's it, right? And who?
Fee.
How did I forget Fee?
Fee comes and goes a little bit more.
And she's such a quiet presence. Yeah. So Fee is she's a sprite. Yes, sprite. She must be I don't know if he actually says. Is she a tree sprite?
Tree or forest sprite,
okay.
I think.
And is she one of the end of the kind?
Well, her whole family was killed.
Right.
And then she was, like, I don't know, starving or hiding out or something, and then people tried to attack her, and she turned them all into trees.
Yeah, and I know there's not a lot of them. I know she's not the last one, but there wasn't anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the kids get sent here because they're either, like, too dangerous or too much of a problem at other orphanages. So this is, like, their end of the line
place to go.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Sal is our shifter. He changes into a Pomeranian, which is kind of adorable. I think Sal's our oldest of the kids.
Yeah, he's like 14 or 16, something like that.
And he's had quite a traumatic past. I don't want to get into that too much because that sort of is spoilery. But he's a good dude.
He gets along with Calliope, so with Linus's cat, and Linus is like, oh, she doesn't like anyone, not even me, but she likes you.
Yeah, Calliope got really chatty with the dog, Pomeranian dog guy. I thought that was funny, because you'd think that she wouldn't like him, because he shifts into a Pomeranian. That should be scary, but I guess it's not.
Well, Pomeranians and cats are about the same size.
They are similar size.
So
I'm
maybe...
not sure mannerisms, but similar size. So yes, those are our children. They're all delightful. And then we have Arthur, who runs the orphanage. And why am I blanking on
Zoe?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Zoe. Which is also is that spoiler? Do we know Zoe's story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Linus figures it out in like
right
2
away,
seconds
right?
of meeting her.
Okay, great. I'm like, I can't remember. So Zoe is the sprite that basically owns the island. I feel like owns a weird way of saying
like
it.
The island's caretaker.
It's her guardian. Yeah, she's the guardian of the island.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a big deal because right off the bat, Linus is like, whoa, why are we all allowed to be here? Because you have to have permission from the sprite to be there.
That sprites are typically very territorial, and he's like,
and reclusive, and
he's like, you good with this? And they don't really want him there. He's a caseworker. They think he's there to shut down the house, so they don't really want him there.
Yeah. So what did you initially think of Zoe? Because she's kind of an interesting little character.
I liked Zoe.
First impression?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linus, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but sometimes, like, by the end I was okay with Linus, but, like, at certain points I was, like, getting a little frustrated with him.
That's fair.
So I was like, you're the problem here, dude.
Not that. Yeah, she was a little abrupt in the beginning, like, when she first picks him up and everything, and, like, drives across and the ferry ride. So I was kind of like, we'll see how... But you knew she was going to be, like, on edge because she doesn't want him there.
Yeah.
So...
I was like, she seems very on edge. Like, she doesn't trust you, and you kind of don't seem to get that.
And he's kind of like, I'm merely here to do my job.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit back and observe.
I do my job well, and they're like, but okay.
Yeah, but you don't realize how many lives you could ruin here.
Yeah, like, we know your type.
Right? Which is interesting, because Linus really never really thought about what his job meant to other people until coming here. Like, he was kind of like, I just check in at 9 and I leave at 5, or I go see this orphanage.
What happens after I finish my report is none of my business.
That was a little aggravating.
I'm like, okay, we don't trust this government.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think of Arthur?
I liked Arthur.
Yeah.
He's very chill. He's a little mysterious.
That's the exact word I was going to use. He's very chill.
Yeah, he's, like, very chill with, like, Lucy's apocalypse stuff. And so he knows, like, when especially Lucy is, like, trying to pull everyone's legs. And he's like, okay, Lucy, that's enough. And then the kid's good again. Yeah. Yeah. And he's very caring. Like, you know right off the bat how much he cares for all the children that he's watching over. Yeah. Yeah, he was very chill. I had no issues with him. Beginning or end. Okay, before we go too far into plot, what did you think of the writing? I liked it. Like, part of it, like I said, was Linus, how he's very funny, but he's not really trying to be funny. No. It's very dry. So I enjoyed that. He takes himself so seriously compared to, like, everyone else. Yeah, he's also like, there's nothing special about me. And, like, as you go along, you kind of, like, see in the ways that he does, or he is special, or, like, the good things about him. He just can't see it. He's got 5 kinds of glasses on, and he can't see out of them. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I liked the writing. It was really easy to just sit down and read this book. Like, it was compelling. And I kept going, and I was going to say that there was a reason, like, I wanted to know what the mystery is, but at the same time, I don't really feel like the mystery was really a mystery. So I don't know that that's really true. I think I just liked the characters, and I just wanted to keep seeing where they were going to go. Yeah. More than anything else. Yeah, it's not it's not one of those, like, big save the world Even novels. Though it says that, like, on the back, that the world could burn. Yeah, and a dangerous task. Okay. Yeah. I mean... I guess, yeah, maybe. Until you meet the kids right off the bat. I guess Talia's shovel is dangerous, but, like... And I guess Lucy is the Antichrist, but still. You're a 6-year-old. How dangerous are 6-year-olds? Alright, I feel like we just should go straight to saying spoilers, because I don't want to accidentally ruin this book for everyone. Because I think they should go read it. As I told them last week, they should have had it read by now, but, you know, we all have lives, you wonder too. If they did their assigned reading. Right? Their assigned reading for mostly books. Okay, so spoilers from this point, because I really think you need to go read the book, and I don't want to spoil anything and ruin it, because it's very delightful, and it's a great end. So the ending is sweet. Yeah. An appropriately used epilogue. Oh, yeah, it has an epilogue. That's all I'm asking for, people. Okay, so come back and tell us all of your thoughts after you've read it as well. What did you think of Extremely Upper Management? Like, whole ominousness. Well, you don't like them. It's just so weird. I mean, it was such an... Like, the way he walks into the room. They're the only characters I, like, couldn't keep straight. Like, I don't think you were supposed to either. Yeah, I don't think you were supposed to, but I was just like... I don't remember. I think I was like, there's 5, so there's had to like process of elimination figure them all out.
Right. It was just very interesting, the whole structure of his job, where you're like, they're in the clearance. I'm sure that's realistic in some places if you work with clearance levels, but it was just very interesting. And
Yeah.
the floor lighting up to guide him there, like, I don't know. It was quite an introduction.
Yeah, they're not good. They're very much not concerned with being in charge of magical youth and like taking care of them.
Yeah, no. That's not why they're here. I
No.
don't think they care at all about the children. They care about keeping them under control.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Making sure they're not a problem to the non-magical parts of the society.
And now tell me, did any of them have magic?
What?
The extremely upper management?
I don't know.
They didn't. That was the whole point.
Oh, I was like, I don't. It doesn't say they do, but I don't think so.
No, it's mentioned several times how, not maybe directly, but how the people who wrote the book, which is the extremely upper management, which they do say that part.
Did they write that? I thought the book was older than that.
The guy with the jowls wrote it. And so, therefore, like, how are they writing these rules and regulations when they have no magical powers? That was the big thing. Which is fair. They probably shouldn't have been.
No.
Okay, let's go into more delightful things. So,
there's a romance in the book.
there is a romance in the book.
Yeah, what'd you think of the romance?
I liked the romance. I was annoyed at Linus for most of that romance. He was so interesting in the boundaries he felt he needed to continue to have.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, even with the children, it was like, no, I can't like them. But you, like, your actions, dude, you totally like them. You're giving Talia money. You're doing this.
I think by that point he'd kind of given up.
Yeah, even though he was still at that point, telling himself he wasn't getting attached, he was leaving soon.
Linus likes to tell himself things.
He really did. I loved the end, where, well, I've already told you it's spoilers at this point, so I loved that they got together in the end and were already talking about, like, adopting the children and getting married and all of that wonderfulness between him and Arthur. So
But it like feeds you these things as, like, references. It's like, oh, yeah, well, this, like, you guys are working on something, and then it doesn't tell you what it is. Comes back a few lines later. Oh, will this, like, mess up your application? Doesn't tell you what it is. A few lines later. Well, we're adopting them, but this is still an orphanage. It's like, wait, what? You could have told me this, like, at the beginning of this epilogue.
yeah, I see, that didn't bother me at all. I knew exactly where we were headed.
Like, yeah, it made sense, but I'm like, wait, you can't bury that lead.
I think my favorite part in the epilogue, though, was when Arthur's like, well, I think we should put your name on this as well, Linus. And he's like, well, or no, they were discussing putting his name on. And I think they were like, well, I don't know if we should leave it off. We're not married. This could be a problem. And Arthur's like, I guess we'll just have to rectify that, won't we? I enjoyed that.
It was cute. I liked that it was a slow burn romance. So it, like, built over the course of the book. And it was, like, sometimes just Arthur is wearing, like, fun socks, and Linus is, like, very endeared by this, and then absolutely mortified that he's endeared.
Yes, I was like, endeared, yeah, I guess, except he's also, like, criticizing it.
And he's like, that's very cute. And he's like, why am I thinking this?
Right. Oh, and when he starts blushing, it's adorable.
Yeah.
And he's like, stop doing that. Why am I feeling like that?
He blushes a lot.
I think poor Linus just, you know, he's been alone for so long. I was so happy to see this for him. I mean, first he's so welcomed in with the children. Like, that's kind of the beginning of him feeling, like, loved and wanted and needed. And then when, like, Arthur was just the cherry on the cake.
Yeah, the kids very much take a shine to Linus.
Yeah.
But the reason I got annoyed with Linus is, like, part of this, like, well, what happens after I file my report is, like, it's not my job, it's none of my business. It's like, I don't know. And, like, the way Arthur's talking, it's like, come on, dude, you have to see this is an abusive system.
Yeah.
Like, and Linus, like, won't see it or doesn't want to see it. I'm like, you need to take the rose-colored glasses off, but they're not quite rose-colored glasses. You just need to, like, open your eyes or something.
Yeah, I feel like he was in so much denial about what his job really, and he'd been there for like 17 years.
Yeah,
It's like, how are you lying to yourself every day about this?
Caseworkers don't last that long.
Yeah, which
At
was
least
noted.
it seems like they're always in the fear of being fired.
Yeah, right. That was this weird little place. You couldn't have any belongings. Sorry, going back to like no personal belonging on your desk.
Yeah, it was like, okay.
Like that right there would have been a red flag. Yes, I completely agree. That was totally upsetting. And he just, I don't know if he just couldn't deal with it, because I think part of him wanted to feel like he was doing a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's making sure that these children are safe, and then if he needs to tell them that they're not safe, well, he did that, and therefore they should be going off to a better situation. But he never follows up to find out if they actually are going to a better situation.
Yeah.
And I think that was very upsetting.
So it's just kind of like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, you need to do more.
Yeah, it's like you were aware that these children, I guess we're hypothetical now because these are past cases that we don't cover in the book, that these children were suffering, and like, what, that you just left them there.
And you wrote up your thing, but you don't know what actually was happened. You don't know if they actually got moved. You don't know if they stayed there.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, that's not my problem.
It's also like they go to the island at one point. So there's like a town on the island. No, a town on the mainland, and then the water, and then the island. So they go to the town.
That's how that works.
Yeah, that's how geography works. So they go to like, Linus is in the town, and he starts like noticing that like people don't like magical beings. They don't like the kids being on the island. They're like, they need to get them out of here. It's basically fantasy racism.
Oh yeah.
And so he like stands up for the kids there, and like when the kids actually visit, he like stands up to people, and I'm like, okay, you have it in you.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this?
Yeah, I don't know where it was buried, and I don't know if he realized that he could be this voice, because a part of me feels too like he was very like negative towards himself. He was always like, you know, degrading his weight and his just overall self-worth. So maybe he didn't realize he had this strength until put into a place where he needed to fight for these people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either. Like, it was upsetting. I get that completely. And how did he not see like the racism towards the magical people beforehand? Like, he's been in these magical orphanages for 17 years.
And he like even comments about, he's like, oh, they coach the kids on what to say, or like the see something, say something posters that are everywhere. And I'm like, you get it. Just like, what's not clicking?
Yeah. It just was not at all until he came here. So thankfully it ended well.
So yeah, he like gets better, but it's just like,
to the point where he actually like is an anonymous tip to bring down extremely upper management, which was great. And they actually, it's the whole thing system kind of crumbles apart, and it's being rebuilt at the
hopefully
end of
better. Yeah.
At the end of the epilogue, hopefully better, because we don't really know.
Yeah.
Where we're. I really need another book. So
I was waiting for it.
Find that out, and I also would like to find out about the children.
I was like, Jody's gonna say she needs another book at some point. I know it.
So true. You know how I am.
I had something else, but I forgot it now.
It was about the romance that we were really talking about.
It wasn't about the romance.
Okay. Were you surprised about Arthur and who Arthur is?
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know this dude. I'm like, oh, phoenixes are in this world too. So when he talked about like his friend, I was like, okay, that's a friend.
I thought, that's Arthur.
I thought he was some other fire thing that could teleport, because they're like, he's everywhere. Like, he always knows what's going on the island. I'm like, well, maybe he like can read minds. I had no idea what Arthur was.
That's fair, because I, at one moment before we found out about the Phoenix friend, and they had referenced how he's everywhere. I'm like, can he like just teleport exactly? Like, or just move really fast? Does he like camouflage himself? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, so I was like, something's up with you. I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, his story was quite sad, but I was. Were you surprised he stayed in the orphanage that basically or at least came back to the place that abused him?
I don't know. Like, it didn't surprise me that the house and he had this secret. I was kind of like a little bit of like, why would you come back here? Yeah,
and why had he not unlocked and dealt with that? Well, maybe you just can't deal with that damage until you have to deal with that damage.
But then it's also like very much like a physical like mirror to like all the emotional stuff he has to deal with too. So it's like this parallels it, and there's an arc for the story.
That's true. It did do all those things.
And Linus had to stumble on something.
Yeah, because we knew we were here for some big dark secret.
Yeah.
Which, again, I was kind of like, this is the secret.
The big dark secret's a big dark basement.
Yeah, like a cellar where...
Oh, yeah, cellar.
Arthur was put for like a month as a child and left in solitary, basically. It was very sad. Because he was a phoenix and...
He was a kid.
He was a kid.
Yeah.
And all those things were not okay with the guy that ran the orphanage. So yeah, that happened. Anyway, I was not surprised about who he was. I kind of was like, what is extremely upper management really looking for, aside from, is Arthur keeping the, like, I don't know. It felt like there was a hidden agenda to that that I never really felt like that was resolved. Or if it was resolved, if the hidden agenda was merely that he's a phoenix.
Well, I thought the hidden agenda was that, like, Werner just wanted to hear bad things about Arthur and wanted to, like, spite him, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe that's all it was. He definitely had it out for him. And they were a thing,
They're
right?
exes, yeah.
That's what I thought. I was like, and that's really cold what he did.
Yeah.
Just like, because I felt like Charles Warner, whatever his name is, really used Arthur. Like, not only were they, like, a thing, and then he, like, dropped him, like, yesterday's old something.
That is an idiom. I just don't know what the rest is.
Yeah. Anyway, and then moved on, and I was like, so were you just using him the entire time? Or were you actually in love with Arthur? I mean, I don't know if we know the answer to that.
I don't think we know the answer to that.
I feel like I do know the answer to that, and I feel like it's not good. Okay, so that was it. He just wanted to have Philip some gossip.
I think so. I think.
And to hear he's doing terrible without him. Like, that it also kind of felt like that. Like,
a little bit.
I want to know he's falling apart without me there.
I also thought, like, when I was reading it, I thought it was more about Lucy. But then Linus was like, oh no, this has all been about Arthur. And I'm like, has it?
Right?
Like...
Because then you start getting we need more information on Arthur. We need more info on him. What's he doing?
It's just like, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. That was the only part that I was kind of like, I don't know that was really handled totally in the book.
It's also not the point. So I was kind of like...
It's not, but it was sort of the catalyst on why he went.
Yeah, but you know it's going to end happy.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's going to end happily. Like, this is going to be fine. Like, I don't know. Like, I knew Linus was going to have to leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he had to go deal with himself.
It's the third act breakup. It's going to be there. It's like, I knew he was going to leave. I knew he was going to come back. And it was going to be happy.
And it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The ending didn't surprise me, but I was, like, happily unsurprised.
Yeah, I think that would have been sad if you were surprised, because then it would have been tragic, probably.
Yeah.
I loved that they're getting another child.
Yeah.
That was very
a
exciting.
Yeti.
Yes!
What's his name? Michael? David?
Maybe David. I don't know. I was just very excited that they were
David!
Yes, let's bring all the children here. And they were like, well, Linus was like, let's bring all the children here. And Arthur was like, okay, we can do some, sure. But
the house has a finite capacity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was adorable. Okay. Anything we've not discussed? I mean, there's so many cute little scenes. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we have to go into any, but if you would like to,
we can't spoil all of them, because then they have to read it.
I know, right? And they really are just cute and delightful. And it's just wonderful watching Linus become like this, like, open up and become a real person.
Yeah.
That sounds weird, but...
And grow spine.
He really had some growth to go through. Yeah. Were you surprised about the village? Like, the mayor, specifically?
A little bit.
I mean, it took her a long time, too.
Mm-hmm.
To come around. I was kind of like, you've been here your whole life.
I was surprised that she was the mayor, because she also works in the hardware store. So I was like, oh yeah, you're just here. And then she's like, by the way, I'm also the mayor. I'm like, you're what?
I know, right? Oh, and by the way, that's my, like, nephew, and I control his trust. There was a lot of, like, those little by the ways from her. And she had a by the way about Arthur, too. Was it just that she knew he was a phoenix?
Oh, no, she knew him when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just funny.
It was just like, what else do you know?
Right? Yeah, she's one of those people. She just can do everything.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, I guess all we have left to say is please go read this book.
It was fun.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it was fun and sweet.
Mm-hmm. I concur. I was saying, if you need like a feel good found family,
definitely found family.
Just delightful.
They just kind of like adopt Arthur or Linus.
Linus, yeah,
Yeah.
they really just adopt Linus. And the children are just hilarious. I don't know, like Lucy and Talia especially were quite funny.
They all have like very vibrant personalities. So there's
Yeah.
like a lot of characters, but they're not hard to remember.
No.
I didn't think they were hard to remember.
No, there was an overloader or
Yeah.
anything like that. No. And they're so unique and like fleshed out that it wasn't hard to remember them, I think, too.
Yeah.
There was nobody that you're like, who?
Yeah. This is extremely upper management.
Right. Which, who cares?
No one. Not us.
Not us. All right. On that note, we will not be meeting next Friday, the 8th, I think? 8th.
Yeah.
Okay, go
Yeah.
us. Because it's a 5 Friday month, so why not take one off? But we will be returning the 15th, I believe. And it will be Trish and I, and we are going to discuss The Matrix by Lauren Groff. This is her new historical fiction set like the 1300s, I think.
Which you wouldn't know by looking at the cover.
You really wouldn't know anything by looking at this cover.
Yeah.
So you should just tune in and find out.
So historical fiction's Marie of France. I don't
Yes.
remember if she has a more specific title.
I do not think she does, but I will let you know in 2 weeks if she does.
Yeah.
So should be fun. See us then. All right. Bye.
Bye.